Today I've got the Stamchild 670 Mark II by STAM Audio. So let's go ahead, dive right in, and let's have a listen.
These butterflies fly no more. These butterflies died, oh no, no. Left with no sign, no note. Why did excitement decide to go? These butterflies fly no more. These butterflies died, oh no, no. Left with no sign, no note. Why did excitement decide to go?
It was on 6. Let's see what that does. Okay, and then if we check the reissue that is on, it's about 3 dB. And then can we play the STAM again? That is crazy. That's absolutely crushing it. Let's see if we go to 2, way lower. That is still doing about 7 dB. What if we do 1 over there? That looks to be about the same, but you can see that the difference between 1 and 2 is a lot. It's way more of a coarse threshold than a really fine control. Okay, so let's have a look at all the knobs and switches. First of all, we see about similar VU meters. We have an on switch that it's in the same position, kind of the same metering calibration switches that are way too big for what their function is. Input switches. And then we've got the threshold, left, lateral, and right vertical. The thing is with this, the reissue and the original vintage do not have stepped threshold. Maybe this is nicer for mastering, so you can actually recall easier. We've got the same time constants over here, which are nice, and the left-right lat vert switch. Down here we've got an entirely new section with a bunch of new features. So first we have a sidechain filter. So we've got 90 Hertz, 180 Hertz, and then mid, that's probably just mid frequencies only. Then we've got the DC threshold. What the DC threshold does is that it changes the ratio, and with changing the ratio, it changes the knee. So all the way counterclockwise to the left, it is going to be more like this, more limiting. So that's more where the reissue Fairchild seems to be at. And then the STAM and the UAD plugins seem to have a lower ratio and a softer knee. So it starts compressing earlier on, but it doesn't do as hard of a compression, because I'm guessing that the reissue Fairchild is calibrated in the exact same way as the Fairchilds back in the 60s left the factory. So that is more of a limiting amplifier. And I guess the Stamchild and the UAD are more calibrated towards softer, gentler compressions. So basically, you can make this function as a vocal compressor with the lower ratio, softer knee, but also as a limiter by going the other way, the higher ratio and the harder knee. That really gives you a lot of versatility that you don't get in the vintage unit or in the reissue. Then we've got a switch over here that engages the dry, wet, and the output. Now they made a bypass switch over here, so you can keep it more to the original spec, because obviously this is not included in the original or the reissue. So let's go ahead and check out another comparison. Let's take a look inside of this unit. So first of all, here we see a big transformer. That must be the power transformer of the power supply, and then you get 2 VU meters over there. Those skulls with the eyes that light up are very cool. And then I see the first 2 tubes over here. So those would be the bigger ones that we saw on the original Fairchild, I think. And then mostly caps, 2 transformers there. There are those transformers. Oh, and then the rest of the tubes over here. So they're paired together quite nicely. I think I see 4 rows of 4, so that's 16 with those 2. That's 18, but the other one, the original, had 20, remember? There's transformers over there as well. So there's plenty of transformers. There are 18 tubes. I'm not really... Are those tubes? They have a little shiny goo on top of them, so it looks like they're made of glass, but they're not, unfortunately. So, okay, I'm curious which 2 tubes we are missing in this unit and what that does for the sound. Before we head into the next comparison file, I want to do a huge shout out and say thank you to TurnLab, the sponsor of today's video. They have sent over the Stamchild 670 Mark II all the way from Belgium to the Atlantisstudio, where we are doing all the comparisons. If you haven't checked out their website yet, go to turnlab.be. You'll find anything from synths, vintage and new, drum computers, outboard gear, microphones, whatever you need, they have it. So let's go check out another file.
So I just pretend, cause every lonely night's a losing fight. Oh, I'm swiping in my bed. I couldn't find you on the app, so hold on to what I have. So I just pretend, cause every lonely night's a losing fight. Oh, I'm swiping in my bed. I couldn't find you on the app, so hold on to what I have. This is not the end, and I'm addicted to the love I thought I had, and you won't. This is not the end, and I'm addicted to the love I thought I had, and you won't.
Right, so let's read about a couple of things on the Stamchild 670. There were apparently only 18 tubes, and there were 20 in the reissue we checked in the previous video. And they say something about it with the aid of 8 premium transformers. It's a lot of transformers, and then the use of 18 tubes, we have managed to make this unit virtually indistinguishable to the original. To reduce the cost of manufacturing, okay, they reduced the cost, obviously, because the reissue is 35,000, the vintage is 300,000, and this thing is 6,000. They had to cut costs somewhere. Let's just hope it's not in the actual audio path. They say something about it. To reduce the cost of manufacturing these units, we have made some modern implementations which do not affect the audio path. We have changed the tube-based power supply to a solid-state one, which has no bearing on the sound. Okay, so the power supply used to be a tube-based one, and now it's solid-state. Maybe that's where the 2 tubes went. That brings us to 18, right? We also changed the control amp to a hybrid setup while maintaining the tube character, control amp input and transformer, and 2 extra tubes, so we're back at 20. Where are the 2 extra tubes? So they took out 2 tubes for the power supply, or I think those are 2 tubes, maybe it's 4 tubes. Did they take out 4 tubes for the power supply and then add 2 extra tubes for the control amp? Maybe that's it. That was it for this video on the Stamchild 670 Mark II. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, let me know in the comments what you think of this unit, how you think it compares to the plug-in and to the reissue Fairchild 670. And stay tuned for the next video, because then we will be at Tripool Recording Studios for an actual vintage Fairchild 670. This is supposed to be the Holy Grail. I'm very excited to try that out and see how that compares to all the other Fairchilds we'll be trying out in this series. If you haven't subscribed yet, do that down below and please leave a like. It helps the channel a lot. Later!